Please do not click the live. Do not go to the YouTube link. It will create some awful background noise.
Okay. You know I was doing that.
You were one too, wasn't you?
We learned that this morning.
Oh, good. I'm glad you told me.
So I'm going to share my screen. So at some point, like for example, when we do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please do not click the live. Do not go to the YouTube link. It will create some awful background noise.
You know I was doing that.
You were one too, wasn't you?
We learned that this morning.
Yes.
Good. I'm glad you told me.
Yeah, we learned the hard way, and I was the one that. So at some point, like for example, when we do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please do not click the live.
I've lost.
Uh-oh, Tim.
It's not. Oh. What happened? We're hearing like a delay.
Yes, I'm not talking and it's talking. Yeah, we learned the hard way, and I was the one that. So at some point, like for example, when we do the Pledge.
There's everybody.
Are we ready?
Oh, Tim, why is it doing that again?
Yeah. What happened?
No one has the YouTube video open, correct?
Nope.
Yes, I'm not talking and it's talking.
Nope. I don't have anything on. I mean, I don't have anything on.
Miss McCain,
I don't have anything on.
the browser that you clicked on after you click go live, what's on that screen?
Hold on. I mean, why is it doing that? Everyone's there.
Yes, but is there, yeah, but I think can you see the feed right now?
Yes.
Okay, you want to exit out of that. Exit out of your YouTube browser. The browser that you clicked on after you click go live, what's on that screen?
I mean, it's recording. That's all I'm saying.
But is there, yeah, but I think can you see the feed right now?
Yes.
Okay, you want to exit out of that.
And it won't,
Exit out of your YouTube browser.
okay.
Browser that you clicked on after you click go live.
There you go.
Okay.
Does that work?
Tim?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. Can you, so I'm clicked out of it, so it is still recording and we're still live on YouTube.
Yeah, you don't have to have the web browser open for that to work.
Once you activate it, you can close it.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry about that. Let me share my screen so I can.
I don't know, it just says Zoom.
Huh?
Don't talk so loud.
Hold on just for a moment, folks.
How much you pay a good IT man, Mike?
I tell you what, I'm not getting paid near enough, Rob. I can tell you that.
They heard me say, "What? I didn't do anything."
I leave for 5 minutes and this thing goes completely haywire. Jeez, oh Pete.
I feel you, Laura. I need Tim all the time.
I tell you.
Have an issue.
We're gonna have to log back in.
Okay. I didn't do a thing to it.
Oh, I can tell you didn't.
Can you not see, Laurie? Because we can see.
I don't see anything.
Because we can see and hear you.
Oh, you can see and hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we hear everything you're saying to your darling husband there.
Oh, Lord, I better
See
watch
Mike?
it.
He's got his Bellarmine
So loud.
pull over
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just can't see you.
Sean,
Did you see her hit me?
Yes.
we got that recorded.
Thank you.
It's on the World Wide Web now.
There we go. Thank
All
you.
right.
Don't go too
Don't
far.
touch anything.
I didn't touch anything.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
All right, this is the Augusta Independent, April 16th, 2020, 6 p.m. special board meeting by Zoom. And first we will have a roll call. So Laurie,
Here.
Chastity,
Here.
Sean,
Here.
Dion,
Here.
myself here. And the Pledge of Allegiance.
Can you all, let me get the flag.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let me get the flag here.
You're supposed to stand.
We are supposed to stand.
Yes.
Where is my flag? Shoot. Oh, she left me.
Can
Oh,
you,
there we
All
go.
right.
can you see
Ready?
the flag?
Yes.
I pledge allegiance
To
to
the
the flag
flag
of
of
the
the United States of
America
America
and to
and
the
the
republic
republic for which it stands,
One
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good.
Good job, guys.
All right, Mr. Couch, would you like to say the mission statement for us?
if the boss can put it up there.
I'm going to.
The mission of Augusta Independent Schools is to ensure all students achieve high levels of learning in a nurturing climate, empowering them to be responsible and productive citizens of a global community.
Thank you. We need an approval of the agenda.
Made.
You got to
Sean?
state your name.
Sean, made.
Cassidy, second.
Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. All right. So principals report, student achievement, Mr. Couch.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have any student achievement to bring you. I guess the best news is by all accounts, our students are safe and sound and hopefully getting to spend some more quality time with their families while we're away. Do a nice little video today. If you get a chance to check that out, Tim had an idea to send a little message. So sent that out earlier this afternoon just to say hello to the students, let them know we're thinking of them. So hope they get to see that. As far as the principal's report, first thing I want to talk about is just a little NTI update. I think we're officially on days 18 through 22 this week. It's kind of hard to keep track. I kind of have to ask somebody about every day what day of the week it is. I don't know if anybody else is having those issues.
Yes.
But, you know, for the most part, I just got to commend the teachers, the administrators, you know, everybody involved, cafeteria, Frisk, custodians, office workers. But, you know, just going above and beyond, transforming the whole educational look from, you know, what we're used to an online setting. Had a monthly meeting, PLC, yesterday through Zoom. And, you know, we're seeing an average, you know, some classes aren't getting as many online, but you're seeing somewhere between 5 and 14 or 15 kids logging on to our schedule that we've posted. We went to a period by period schedule. I think we did that the week before spring break. So we're online 2 times a day. The teachers are 9 to 10:30 and 1 to 2:30. And so 9 to 10:30 on Monday is first period. And then 1 to 2:30 is second period. I think, is that right, Tim? It went across or went down?
I think it went down. So I think it's first and third.
First and third on Mondays, and on Tuesdays at the same time, second and fourth. Wednesdays, third and fifth. Thursdays in the morning, we hit sixth period or seventh period, and then Thursday afternoons reserved for homerooms and sponsors if they were to contact or need anything. And then Fridays built in for individual instruction. We still have quite a few people handing out packets. I've been in the office every day this week and had several calls for online or paper packets. So I think I asked the teachers to report to me, and I think there might be 10 to 15 kids that we've not been able to have any contact with, maybe a few less. I did find out today possibly 2 or 3 of those moved. So I think we've done pretty well. I'll continue Monday to reach out to those, the ones the teachers have given to me that they can't get a hold of. A couple weeks ago when that happened, I tried to call and then went to their door and got a hold of a couple of them. So I'll try to call on Monday, and if that doesn't, if I don't have any luck, I'll probably go door to door and try to reach the ones that we haven't had any contact with. But for the most part, like I said, I've been very pleased with the teachers, been pleased with the parents. You know, I think on the other side of this, some of these parents are going to have a newfound appreciation for what educators do. And hopefully, you know, that'll be one of the positives of that, because I've heard more parents than one say, we don't know how you all do what you do every day. They're driving me crazy. They're ready for kids to go back to school. So, but, and the thing is, on the other side, we're just as ready for them to come back, because we don't know how to do it without them. You know, whereas they drive their parents crazy when they're home. I mean, I don't know about you all, but I'm going crazy without seeing them every day. I haven't seen a fist bump or a hug from a kid at 7 o'clock in the morning in so long. So I'll be glad when this is over, personally. I don't know about you all.
Yes.
Moving on from NTI, I want to talk a little bit about the senior. I don't know if you've seen the senior spotlights. Mr. Literal, Coach Arnold, Mr. Bryant, Mr. Roof have done a great job with those. You know, I think we've been trying to highlight one on, I think, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Is that right, Tim?
Yes.
Kind of how they've been coming out. Those just look top notch, very classy. Kids kind of did their bios and things, and we've had teachers give some comments on those kids and shared those. So that's been received very well. Just one of those ways, you know, obviously there's nothing we can do to give them back the senior year they expected or deserved, but just try in every way possible to show that we understand and we feel for them, and we're going to do what we can. So that's one of the ways. I think we actually had a text this afternoon, myself and Mr. Bryan, Miss McCain, Miss Brewer, just a couple other ideas we're toying around to once again just recognize them and show our appreciation for what they've given to the school. We also, Mr. Bryant's organized Zoom meeting on Fridays at 1 o'clock to kind of touch base with scholarships. You know, when there does come information about graduation and prom, which we've promised and committed to hold, we don't know when or where or what it'll look like, but we're very committed to doing those two things. And so just to give them updates, but the main thing is just to touch base with them, give them a forum to talk with each other. And then the brilliant thing Mr. Bryan organized was the masked singer. We've had 2 masked singers and a masked singer and a masked dancer each week. First week, Stephen Cordell as the stormtrooper sang to us, and then Coach Brian Kirk danced for us. And then last week, Todd Kelch sang, and then Megan Blackaby was going to sing, but had some technical difficulties. So she ended up dancing. We got a couple more lined up for this Friday. So the kids have really enjoyed that. And I think that's another way, you know, that something unique and special that we've gotten to do and enjoyed being a part of that. So that's pretty neat. So board members, if any of y'all would like to put a mask on and sing for us on Friday at 1 o'clock, we're loving. You don't even have to be real good. If you're available, we'll take you. Just let us know and we'll sign you up. So moving on, grading. We talked in we're having weekly admin meetings at Zoom on Mondays. You know, with this being so difficult and the many challenges and not being able to know if kids truly have good internet access or parents that are home helping them with their work, you know, we've advised our teachers. We had talked about going to a pass-fail system, which a lot of people, I know a lot of colleges have went to, but Ms. McCain had received some guidance that would kind of impact GPAs and keys money, which the last thing we want to do is negatively impact the students in any way. They're already putting up with enough as that is with what they're going through. So we're kind of going to use the pass-fail philosophy, but attach a letter grade to them. We've advised our teachers to be very lenient. If these kids are doing, what they're supposed to do and making an attempt, we're going to kind of be very lenient with these grades. And, like we told them, we'd hope to see a lot more A's than any other grades because they've got a lot of, hiccups to overcome. This is different for them. By no means is it their fault in any way. Some of them got parents that are still working. Some of them don't have the resources and just a lot of things to overcome. So we thought it was best to kind of adopt that philosophy. And a lot of other schools have kind of went by the same way when we did some research. So, as long as they're making an effort and getting online, and if they can't get online, doing their work or making some contact with their teacher, we've got tons of packets in the office, but with us being advised really not to handle those or not to use those or look at those for a long time, and teachers not coming in to check those, it's kind of hard to grade real strenuous like you would if you had them in class. And my thing was, and if you've got a kid that you've not got nothing out of, before you would even think about, giving them a bad grade, we need to make sure we've done everything in our power to reach out to them, to contact them, to get them on board, if that means delivering packets or, whatever it means to do. And like I said earlier, I think there might be 10 or 12 and several of those are elementary. So I don't foresee us having to do that in any way. I foresee a lot of really good grades. And, like I said, the teachers have done an outstanding job with their meetings and their packets and, checking on these kids. And that leads me into, I've talked a little bit about our certified plan. You kind of know what they're doing. They're heading up the instruction from home. The other thing Ms. McCain asked me to speak about was that certified and classified. Our classified worked up till right before spring break, and when we decided it was best for everybody to, kind of be out of the building and not have anybody in there, very few people in there. We went to, very essential personnel with the cafeteria, a couple of them each day, making sure lunches are prepared and delivered, rotating our custodial staff, who's done a great job. Rick and Buffy and David Miller's helped them, our bus driver. They've waxed and cleaned and painted and got a lot of stuff done that will put us a head start for summer. And I think the only other one, Miss Anita and Miss Kim will come in occasionally to film videos and get some stuff ready on. Kayla in the office is coming in a day or two. But so we put our classified in a rotation to do phone calls. They're paired up with teachers. A majority of our classified are special ed aides anyways. So they're reaching out to their students that they typically work with. They each reported yesterday on our faculty meeting, and every one of them had made contact, had reached parents, had reached out to their kids that they help serve throughout the year typically. And so that's kind of what they're doing, making phone calls. I know Nurse Luann, Mr. Albright's had a couple getting a hold of a few kids. She's jumped in and made phone calls for him. They're also working on some modules that give them some professional learning, and they're they found a great series for autism that some of the teachers that are working with those autistic kids are using modules to, like I said, get professional learning and improve their knowledge and ways they can work with these kids. Nurse Luann had some nursing modules. Tim, I think, gave Kayla a ton of stuff, finance-wise, Red Book-wise. Have a new system for entering invoices and things I know she's been working on. So I think these people it's a different kind of work, but there's no doubt they're working just as diligently and doing everything in their power to make sure this is a great educational experience for the kids. And they're still continuing to get, a level of high quality instruction that we've come to know. And I think Ms. McCain, I think that's it. I don't really see the 4. I think I've hit those.
Yes, Mr. Couch, you are very thorough. Thank you.
Any questions?
No.
No.
Guys, thank you all. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Couch. Superintendent's report.
I just want to reiterate what Mr. Kelch said at the beginning. Just take a minute to compliment the staff on just their extraordinary efforts during this, unprecedented time. I have to brag on first my administrative team. It's like time right now is on a loop, and it doesn't matter what time of day. I can email or text or call, and the administrative staff is pretty much accessible 24/7. It's like time just doesn't even exist. It doesn't matter. Everybody's just doing what they need to do. I have to, brag on Mr. Literal. He always goes above and beyond, just doing so much with technology. And he not only assists from the district standpoint, but he does a whole lot to help and assist with the school, with Mr. Kelch, Miss Brewer, Mr. Bryant, does a lot with the teachers. So I can't, brag on him enough. I know Tina's on here tonight. Tina is one of our classified employees who still is working daily. She does have a modified schedule. She's coming in every day, 10 till 2. But I can tell you what I know about Tina is if we'd said, Tina, we want you still come in from 8 to 4, Tina would have still came in 8 to 4 happily and worked nonstop to get everything done. Mr. Kelch, he's the one person that I know that I can always call the school, and he's going to be there or he's going to be nearby. One of the things that, I recognize is that, we've got the teachers calling and checking on kids, basically doing wellness checks every day. Well, your principal is calling and checking on his faculty and staff as well. Mr. Kelch has been making phone calls, personal phone calls to every one of his teachers and his staff members to check on them, make sure everyone's doing okay. Chad is coming up with new ideas and ways to reach these kids virtually. Miss Brewer, she's the one that came up with the idea that Mr. Kelch had mentioned, that we were trying to come up with some other things, recognition things for the seniors. So I can't tell you how, lucky I am and how privileged I am to work with such an amazing administrative staff. And by all accounts, the faculty and staff have been extremely cooperative. They have been extremely adapting. They have adapted and adjusted and have engaged just like without missing a beat. So I just wanted to take a few minutes there and just say what a great job everyone's doing given the circumstances. I don't know that they could work any harder or do any more to reach kids. So kudos to the Augusta Independent faculty and staff. Amazing job that they're doing.
All right.
I'm going to give some updates. Let me click down here. Can everyone see the, okay. First, I want to start just to give a quick update on COVID. You all may or may not be aware, but a couple of days a week, the health department is conducting Zoom meetings. So I have been participating in those. You probably have already heard that Bracken County has had 7 confirmed cases so far, and they will give us the gender, they will give us the vicinity where the person lives, if they're out in the county or if they're in city limits at Augusta or Brooksville. So far, there has been no connection to the school district that we're aware of. That is something that Tony Cox said he would try to keep me informed if there was a connection. So far, none of the cases have been connected. We have been following Governor Beshear's daily press conferences. I just got information right before the board meeting started because superintendents have been anticipating getting notification from the governor of our next conference call. And apparently we're going to be getting notification tomorrow. So I think that everyone, it's the consensus that everyone fully expects that the closure will be extended for the remainder of the year. I expect when we have this next conference call, that's going to be the information that the governor shares. So I will keep you informed as I get that information. With that being said, I think everyone's probably already seen it online. I think it was in my board update that prom and graduation is merely postponed. When we are able to get back to school, when we are able to schedule those important events for our students, we will do that later on. The amended calendar update, once we know what the governor's directive is going to be, we will be able to then develop a plan, and then I will make a recommendation to the board. It is very likely that we will have to have a special called board meeting, because we're probably going to have to take some steps and actions with our calendar that will take place before our next board meeting, which is in middle of May. Because I do know that with Senate Bill 177, that allows districts to just use hours. So all school districts have to have 1,062 instructional hours. They have waived the student attendance days. So basically we have to have 1,062 hours, but we don't have to go the 170 days. We will be at 1,065 hours. We exceed that on May 1st. So I can tell you in confidence that our last NTI day will be May 1st. At that point, we will have exceeded the requirement to have the 1,062 hours. So May 1st, we know, will be the last day for NTI days. Now, that doesn't mean that our teachers won't continue to work, because they will still have to fulfill their contract days. So we'll continue doing that. We also don't know yet what the governor is going to tell us in this next press conference. If he tells us we can, reopen May 15th, that's going to impact, our decision on what we do. So that's what I have right now on the amended calendar. More information to come as soon as we have an update from the governor, and then it will likely require a special called meeting. Before I move to the state budget update, does anyone have any questions so far? No? Okay. As you all probably know, the General Assembly didn't pass the biennial budget. In light of COVID-19, being a crisis year and just with so many unknowns and uncertainties, the budget is a one-year budget. That budget is currently still on the floor. What we do know is that the SEEK forecast for next year, that has been posted by the Department of Ed, and school districts are to use the 2018-19 attendance data to calculate their SEEK funding. So in terms of establishing our tentative budget for next year, we will be using the 2018-19 attendance data. Mr. Literal and I had a superintendent finance officer webcast last week. This was giving us some updates on just the financial aspect that we can expect with the budget. Some of the highlights are the fact that there is no mandated raises. There had been discussion previously of mandated raises. That's not in there. Funding for school-based mental health providers is included in the budget. KDE grant funding that we receive is still there unchanged. There's still no funding for professional development or KTIP programs. They have offered some flexibility for school districts that could use some of their contingency funds. Districts can also use ESS and safe schools a little more flexibly if they needed to use that for just operating expenses. And then the KETS funding, which is technology funding, that continues to remain the same. Those were some of the highlights. Again, everything is not has not been confirmed. So until the governor signs off, all of that at this point is not official just yet. I was talking to Mr. Literal. I'm just going to just raise this to the board members' attention as well, that with so much uncertainty with, you know, the budget and with just the state revenue, not sure what's going to happen next year. We were anticipating that our seat calculation was going to increase this year, and that was going to be a huge, huge benefit for us as the board was trying to give raises across the board. So we're not real sure, you know, how things are going to shake out. I asked Mr. Literal to look at our current budget and the money that we're saving right now from being closed, that we could go ahead and start paying for some of next year's line items that are reoccurring expenses that we know every year we have, such as membership dues, other program licenses that we typically purchase from year to year, to go ahead and let's get some of those paid for now out of this from this fiscal year, because next year things could get really, really tight. I'm just not sure what's going to happen there. Does anyone have any questions about the budget?
No.
No.
Okay, so the next thing is the CARES Act. As you all know, the feds is providing relief to states. So what we have been informed is that Kentucky will receive $193 million. That's going to trickle down to the elementary and secondary schools for relief. They informed us that 90% of that will be disseminated to districts. And what they'll do is they'll use what's called our Title I funding formula in order to distribute that. So, for example, Augusta will receive our proportionate amount based on, you know, funding we receive from the federal government through Title I. The FEMA request for assistance, that's the Federal Emergency Management Agency. They had informed us during the webcast that Tim and I were on that they strongly recommended all districts to submit this form, the request for assistance, because they aren't sure as far as how this is going to work and the details involved, but they wanted districts to go on and submit that form in case we are eligible for some type of reimbursement, some types of funds. So the district did submit that on Monday. So we have been told to keep a record of our spending that is related to the COVID-19 closure. So some of the things that we have talked about For example, this Zoom subscription that we are enjoying right now without being kicked out of this meeting after 40 minutes, that would be one of the expenses that we might be able to get reimbursed for or recoup from this. Things like our Chromebooks. I talked to Mr. Literal. He had informed me, I think there's about 60. Did we issue about 60 Chromebooks?
It was probably closer to 80 to 90.
Okay, so 80 to 90. So we're talking about, a third of our population of our kids have Chromebooks. The life of these Chromebooks are probably 4 to 5 years. Mr. Literal informed me we were at year 4. So they were already having some issues. I expect that it's likely we may not get some of those back. And it's likely that if we do get them back, they're probably going to be damaged or maybe even inoperable. Do you have anything to add to that, Tim?
No, I think that's
I see I've
pretty
got,
much covers it. You got a glare.
let me move around a little bit. Yes, I've got that. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Kelch, can you still see my wreath? Well, he's gone.
Yes, it's just moved to the right of your head.
Okay, I thought maybe, he is a narcoleptic, if you all don't know this. And I thought maybe he'd fallen asleep there for a minute.
I've just got it on mute.
I'm teasing you. So anyway, we do expect that we're going to have several expenses that we're going to be able to get reimbursed for. We certainly are recording our list and will request reimbursement when the time comes, and that information trickles down. Also wanted to mention the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. That's all part of those federal relief. And that's regarding the paid sick leave for employees who are sick or who have family who are sick because of the coronavirus, or possibly employees who are caring for children because they don't have child care. So those are things that, we would be eligible for if it were necessary. Knock on wood, we haven't had issues, so far with any sick employees, thankfully. So we just don't know, but it is there and is available if it were needed. Senate Bill 177 also makes emergency leave for the school district employees. I did want to note there that if that was necessary, that isn't automatic. It would be something that the board would have to take action. So if we had a sick employee, you would know because it would require board action to approve any kind of emergency leave. Any questions on that information?
No.
Okay, just wanted to mention that the Kentucky Association of School Administrators had reached out to school districts about joining a consortium to get in on a school safety grant. So of course, we took advantage of that. We did submit our district's information. They are writing a grant for $5 million. So if they would receive it, again, it's one of those grants that we would get our proportionate amount of the grant that we could use for any kind of school safety needs that we have. I know this summer we're looking at installing the Raptor system, which is the identification system when people enter the building, that they are then issued their ID badge. So that is one of the safety programs that we are planning on purchasing that we might be able to use these types of funds for. Board training report. The only thing I wanted to mention, I think Chastity and Sean,
Yep.
Tina sent you an email. Yes, Tina sent you an email because there had been, I guess, a discrepancy in your training hours. Chastity was short 0.25 for the year and Sean was short 0.50. Therefore, we want you to look over what KSBA sent back, and because they didn't have it on record on the sign-in sheets, but if you confirm that you attended those sessions, I can send an email to KSBA. So just let Tina know on that.
Okay. Yeah, I see it on an email of my screenshot of what I went to just to show that I already had it on my agenda thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the last thing is the National School Lunch Program update. Just real quickly, as you all know, as soon as the closure started, we weren't certain if we were going to get our National School Lunch Program reimbursement. However, they did approve that waiver. Now what has happened, it has switched from the National School Lunch Program claim and starting March 13th, and actually is going through the state. So the state is now processing it similar to the summer lunch program, which is how that typically works. I just am letting the board know this because the claims for summer lunch program are less than the claims during the typical regular school year. So you might start seeing a difference when Mr. Literal is giving his budget report from the food service department. However, we are in very sound financial condition in food services. So even getting less with our reimbursements now isn't going to hurt us in the least. So we are in good shape there. Mr. Caskey also received notification today from the school community nutrition office that they are waiving on-site reviews. This happened to be a review year for Augusta Independent. We were scheduled for April 3rd, so that has been waived. So what's going to happen now is that they will do a desk review, and then they're going to do an on-site technical assistant visit from one of the school community nutrition consultants. They will come sometime in the fall to do that visit. And then we'll be back on the rotation cycle in 5 years for the on-site visit.
That has to do with the lunch program, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They do an audit. They basically do a food service audit every 5 years. So we were actually supposed to have ours on April 3rd. So that has been waived. So that is the alternate plan for the district, is an on-site technical visit from one of the school community nutrition consultants, and they will also do a desk review. Any more questions? Anything else that I haven't brought up? I tried to be very thorough. There's just a lot of information that I needed to cover. So I wanted to make sure to go over all of it in detail.
All right. Well, thank you. And I'm glad that we extended this meeting so we don't have to be kicked off.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you, Ms. McCain, for all your hard work. And like you said, all the other school personnel also, Mr. Literal and Tina and all the rest of them, Mr. Couch. I guess we don't have any citizens, right, to ask. And so board members, Sean, do you have anything to add or ask?
No, I'm just concerned, are the students, with all these NTI days, they were set up temporarily for maybe 12, 14 days of instruction. Now it's going to be more like 3 months. Are they actually getting the education that they really need from this type of program? Or I guess it's better than nothing at all, but
Well, I think all school systems are going to be struggling with this. And I think, just from hearing what Mr. Kelch said, I think we are in the right place as far as giving them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, they are going to be struggling with this COVID-19 as much or more than we are, in their lifetime. So, I feel good about what we are doing for the students.
Hey, Sean, obviously not. They're not getting absolutely. You can't replace face-to-face instruction. We've got a large number of kids that don't have the capacity to log on, even with us giving them a Chromebook. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to sit here and tell you packets and being online is giving these kids, what they would get if they were in a classroom,
definitely.
6 hours a day, 5 days a week. With that being said, kind of like Julie said, I think we're doing as much as more as we can. We're doing the best we can. The teachers are online trying to instruct and doing things. But I think, like she said, the kids you're going to see the impact of this, I'm afraid, for a year or two, and it's going to be kids across the state. But no, I don't want to mislead anybody and think you're getting the same type of instruction that they're getting, because there's no, I don't think there's any way to match what we do on a daily basis.
No.
So yeah, so just to answer that question, I don't know that they're getting the quality of instruction they would, obviously, if they were where they needed to be in the classroom, but I do think that they're getting the best that they can for the situation. Ms. McCain, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just want to add to that, what you said right there at the end, Robin, that you think that they're getting the best that they could possibly get given the situation. Sean, we were very lucky that we were an NTI district. I'm very happy that this was going into our 3rd year being an NTI district, and that our faculty were very familiar and very versed with using virtual platforms already for NTI. When all of this started, there were almost 100 districts that had to apply for an emergency NTI waiver.
Right.
So we were only one of, about 70 some districts that actually already had been using NTI. So from that standpoint, I cannot imagine how difficult it has been for districts that have never done NTI and don't have any experience with doing it. I feel for those districts. I feel for those teachers, administrators, and especially the kids. I think that, you can't take the place of face-to-face instruction. There's no way that online platforms are ever going to match that. But I think that our teachers have done just about as good a job as you could do. And I know they're working
I
really
give
hard.
them all the credit in the world. I'm not criticizing it. I was just,
Right.
Yeah.
for such a long period.
Yeah, we agree. We are with you 100%.
We're a step above everybody else. Most districts I know. I agree with that.
All right. Anything else, Sean?
No.
Chastity?
Nope.
Dion?
No.
Laurie?
I want whatever Robin's eating right now.
A red Twizzler.
Oh, never mind, never mind.
There goes the sun again, Miss McCain.
No,
I'm
following you.
This is past my supper time, Laura.
I know.
No, I think Mike's out there fixing mine. I'm hoping he is anyway.
I smell mine. It smells good.
The monthly budget report. Jim?
All right. Revenue receipts for the general fund through March totaled over 1,458,000. Some of the large categories in local revenue: $253,000 in property taxes, $104,000 in utility tax, over $24,000 in PSC taxes. We received $19,000 in motor vehicle taxes, $9,700 in tuition payments, $5,300 in transportation reimbursement, 4,000 donations. Most of that was the part of that is JP Morgan account that we received. 1,800 in miscellaneous revenue, 1,500 for delinquent taxes, and 700 in fitness center dues. State revenue consists of over $1 million in SEEK funding and approximately 4,800 in the revenue we receive in lieu of taxes. And our general fund federal revenue consists of 4,400 from Medicaid reimbursement. Our expenditures through March totaled approximately $1,439,000. Looking at the school budget, through March, they've expended $17,500, which includes $5,800 on curriculum resources and technology resources, $5,100 on copying expenses, $3,600 on general supplies, $1,900 on dues and fees, and $500 on both postage and travel. Our maintenance budget expenses through March total $248,000. Some of the categories that have changed since last month: utility expenses, $72,000, $61,000 for salary and benefits, $22,700 on general supplies, $10,400 on building repairs, maintenance and plumbing, $8,700 for professional services, and we've utilized 83% of the maintenance budget. Transportation costs through March totaled $73,000, with $30,000 expended on salaries and benefits. $11,000 was spent on diesel fuel, $7,000 on repair parts and tires, $4,000 on vehicle repair and maintenance, and $1,800 on gasoline. We've expended 62% of the transportation budget. So for the general fund, thus far, our receipts exceed our expenditures by almost $19,000. Moving on to the food service fund. For March, our food service receipts year to date, $136,000, with $123,000 being from federal revenue, $12,000 from local, and $800 from state. Our expenditures have totaled $125,000, with $67,000 on food, $51,000 on salaries and benefits, $4,400 on equipment repair, $1,500 on general supplies, $800 on dues and fees, and $600 on equipment. So our food service balance as of the end of March was approximately $59,400. Two other areas that were not actually in the narrative text. Just wanted to mention we did receive our third CATS technology offer of assistance for almost $1,300. That does not require board approval since you've already approved it in the past. So we've accepted that. And then also a note looking at next year, E-rate, which we haven't talked a lot about E-rate in recent years, but E-rate are the federal funds that we receive for certain technology purchases, or you can receive them, I should say. You have to apply. There is a single year sort of pot of money, I would say, for some technology purchases. These types of technologies are not the things that you think of, like computers or Chromebooks. It's a lot of back-end stuff that makes the network and the internet run. So it's kind of in 2021, you use them or you lose them. So I did want to just mention that we have applied for a few networking equipment items. The total of those items would be $7,700 with E-rate. If they approve it, they pay 85%. That leaves the district with 15% cost. So out of the $7,700, the district will only be required for $1,100. And a lot of these are things that, like I said, you don't think about because they're on the back end, but some of our equipment on the back end is aging. So when those monies and funds become available, we like to take advantage of those. Any questions about the budget or those other items?
No? All right. I need a motion to approve the monthly budget report.
Dion, I make a motion.
Laurie made the motion.
I think Dion made the motion and I need a second.
Dion made the motion. Laurie will
second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Approve our monthly facility report. You can see the monthly maintenance, paging system repair, door repaired in basement, lawnmower service, floor waxing, painted bathroom and cafeteria. And then, Ms. McCain, do you want to say anything about the Suburban, or did everybody read that, or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had some wind damage. Last Wednesday, a tree limb came down, fell on the Suburban. It cracked the windshield and there's a few small dents. Like I had put on here, I don't think that the damage is likely to be enough to even reach our deductible, which is $1,000. But we will go on and get it repaired. Now the glass coverage, that's included. That's part of our, for free glass breakage, it's part of our comprehensive insurance plan. So that's not a problem. So we will get it repaired.
I told you you needed to put it in my garage. Right?
Fully, yes, we need it there. Will Mike let us put it there?
It's really not up to Mike, it's me.
Okay.
And I don't think it's gonna fit there with my car, so probably not. Unless I can drive it. All right, I need a motion to approve the monthly facility report.
Sean made.
Sean made the motion.
Chastity second.
Chastity second. All in favor? Aye. All right, approve the audit contract.
Just wanted to mention here, the board had already approved the audit firm. This is just the formality that KDE requires, their contract with the audit firm. So that's what this is.
All right, so we need a motion to approve that.
Deanna, I make a motion.
Deanna makes a motion. I need
Chastity
Lori
second.
second.
Chastity, I think, seconded it. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All right, approved second reading of board policy 03.115, the transfer of tenure board policy. We talked about this at the last meeting. Change the word shall with may to make the policy less restrictive. I think we've all had a chance to read over this. Are there any questions?
No.
I need a motion to approve the second reading of the board policy 03.115.
I make a
Sean
motion.
made.
Looks like Dion made the motion. Sean seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved 2020 summer feeding program. Maysville Housing Authority will operate a summer feeding program site at the Augusta Independent School from May 26th to August 14th, 2020. Any questions? I need a motion to approve the 2020 summer feeding program.
Chastity.
Chastity made the motion.
Deanna second.
Dion
I'll
seconded.
second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The business and consent items, approved previous meeting minutes, approved 2020-2021 district technology plan, approved 2020-2021 KEDC cooperative membership agreement, approved donations, approved bills, approved treasury report. I need a motion to approve the business and consent items.
Made, Sean.
Sean made the motion.
Second, Lori.
Second. Lori seconded.
Second,
All in
Lori.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
I need a motion to approve for adjournment.
Deanna, I make a motion.
I think Chastity made the motion. Dion seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. And so concludes our first Zoom board meeting.
Woo! Wow, great job, Julie. You did
Yeah,
it.
I did it in less than an hour. Laurie, I'm trying to follow you. I'm working on it. And we'll do a little bit of sign
You're
language.
doing a good job.
We'll get through this together.
Yeah.
Through this together. Which reminds me, I want to learn sign language. I want to learn that.
Sarah hated it. She took it. She hated it.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Expressive, and she didn't want to do all that.
Hi, Robin.
Bye, Rob.
Bye, Rob.
Bye, Robin.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
I think this went really well.
Hi,
We
Tina.
had a
Are
little
you
bit
leaving? Oh,
of
she's waving.
with me not turning off our YouTube browser, but I think this went great.
Good. Good.
Yeah,
It did.
it did. And honestly, Julie, it wasn't your fault that the meeting went as long as it did. It was actually mine.
Yeah, I
I
know.
had a long report. You all know I don't do that very often. I try not to.
That's fine. It was information we needed.
It was. I felt like it was important. There was a lot out there. So I'll keep everyone informed as I get information. So just be checking your email and I do a lot of text because it seems like that's the quickest mode of communication that everybody gets first. So if it's something short and sweet, Julie, you
Julie.
me.
I started to make an Augusta background, but I don't have a green screen, so I wasn't going to be able to like show it.
Where do you get those? Where do I find that?
If you go down to the stop video, choose virtual background. Here you go, Dion.
Oh no, I have backgrounds, but
No,
I don't have a green screen. I have a Mac, and
Oh.
processor's not the
Well,
right.
that's mine. I've got a
I
Mac.
just,
I
I
don't see
here.
where that is on mine.
Well, you must have the right processor.
All right, good night, everybody.
Oh, it's time to
That's
shut.
fine.
Bye.
Lisa, is there anything I need to sign? I thought there was something. Okay.
Yes, you can stop by the board office anytime and sign the board minutes.
Okay, just anytime.
Yeah,
Well,
and those,
10 to 2.
What is it?
10 to 2 is
Okay,
when
well, I get up about 10 and then I take a nap about 2, so that'll work.
That's perfect. That's during your awakening then.
That's right.
Ms. McCain, there's also the audit contracts to sign.
Yeah, I
think
thought
she-
there was something I saw online that I
Yes.
needed to sign.
Yep, that's right. It's in the folder. So I've got the folder. I will be in the office tomorrow. And so Tina will have the folder for you to sign. So anytime you can stop by.
Okay, I'll be there
What
sometime
happened?
tomorrow.
So Tim, can I turn off the recording now?
Yes, I think so, yeah. And you can
All right.
Just stop recording.
stop recording and probably on those 3 dots, is there a stop the YouTube live?
Okay, let's